Hey, Godfather of Anxiety here. Just wanted to do a video about dealing with intrusive thoughts, specifically dealing with intrusive thought OCD. And for those of you out there who have dealt with this or who are currently dealing with it, you guys know it's a horrible condition to deal with. It'll make you question whether you're a good person or not. It'll make you question your identity. And I have found, I've got 5 things that I'm going to talk about that will, I believe, help you and to mitigate and to lessen some of the severity of intrusive thought OCD. And some of them may seem counterintuitive, but trust me on this one. These tips will help you be able to at least keep them more in the background than in the foreground of your life. And first things first, if you are experiencing intrusive thought OCD, you need to go and seek the help of a mental health professional. You have to do this. It's going to be the quickest way to get better, and they will be able to share some of the therapy and some of the ideas right here that I'm going to share with you guys. So that's going to be the quickest way to get better. The other thing, make sure you get your sleep. Make sure you get your exercise and try to eat in a balanced way. Sleep, especially with intrusive thoughts, is going to help. It will help. For whatever reason, I have multiple relatives that experience intrusive thoughts, and without fail, when they don't get sleep or when their sleep is lessened, their OCD gets worse. Their intrusive thoughts get worse. And personally, this is exactly the case for me as well. So with that out of the way, I'm going to start with some of the things I found that have really helped me over the years dealing with intrusive thoughts. First thing, label it as OCD. This is not you. This is not your thoughts or desires. In fact, what I find is intrusive thoughts tend to be the things that frighten us the most, the things that disgust us the most, the things that cause the most reaction in a negative way from our psyche, from who we are as a person. And our mind knows how to torture us, right? Because it knows what bothers us. And for whatever reason, that's what's playing on a loop when it comes to intrusive thought OCD. And it's really a nightmare to deal with. But remember, this isn't you. So label it as OCD. Every time you're having a recurring thought, whether it's about some horrible act of violence that you would never do, or something to do with sex that you would never do, or whatever it may be, germs, whatever the disgusting, horrible thought that's playing on a loop in your head, very important to remember that that is not you, it is OCD. So label it as OCD. That's the first thing I have. Next thing, don't try to force the thought out of your mind. This is one of those things that sounds counterintuitive. Wait, when we get a bad thought, because we're all, right? We're human beings. We all have, fleeting thoughts of things that would be inappropriate. And it is appropriate in this case to push them out of your mind, and it usually isn't that hard if it's an inappropriate thought to just dispel it. Okay, yeah, I would never do that, But with OCD, it's completely different. When anything that you react to with any of these anxiety spectrum conditions, and it's especially true of intrusive thought OCD, you react to these thoughts and you try to push them out of your mind, I'm going to tell you, You're going to intensify the thoughts. The loop will play faster. The thoughts will get worse. Your mind will embellish them more. And so don't, just like when I tell you guys, don't fight panic attacks, let them happen. Intrusive thoughts, let them happen. Let them play. Don't react to them. And I know this is really hard. So it's not like I think I'm telling you guys something that's easy to do. Especially if you've gone a large portion of your life without having intrusive thoughts, and then out of the blue, you're having them. I understand why you guys would feel like, this is a nightmare that you have to try to push away. But again, if you try to push these thoughts out or block them out, it's going to intensify them. Another thing that you don't want to do, don't try to rationalize them. Don't try to figure out why you're having them. It's not going to be logical. There's not going to be something, some causative nature. Because when you start doing that, then that gets into where you start questioning your identity and you start giving way more credence to these thoughts than they deserve. And it'll start to close in on your life and make you less in control, and it will not go well. So don't try to figure them out. Don't try to rationalize them. If, in my experience with intrusive thoughts, I think I have figured them out. It's your mind trying to keep you, for whatever reason, paralyzed with fear and almost just controlled by these horrible images and thoughts that are going through your mind, because it's the worst. It's the worst of the worst. In my experience, that's what it is. It's the worst of the worst. So that's why it's so hard not to react. But trust me, if you don't try to react, if you don't try to figure it out and find some link, why am I having violent thoughts? Why am I having, thoughts of a sexual nature that I would never normally have, that are just playing on a loop? It's not like you're thinking these things. It's like almost like a movie's playing in the background. And that's what you want to keep it. You want to keep it in the background. It's really important not to give it credence. And again, don't try to figure it out. Another thing that I've found that can help, especially if they're starting to get a little less intense, stay busy, exercise. Just get up and get busy. If you're not busy, idle hands are just no good when it comes to intrusive thoughts. So now I understand that if you're in a really bad place with these intrusive thoughts, a distraction might not be possible. I've been there. I've been there where if somebody said, hey, let's do this, it wasn't going to work. It was still just going to play. Maybe it will still, though, help some because you won't be able to focus on it. Even if it's playing catch, if it's anything that takes any mental or physical engagement that can rob some of your brain from that loop that's playing, I've noticed, especially if it's getting less, if you're starting to recover, this will help. So don't sit around. Don't be tortured watching the movie. Try not to watch the movie. Let the movie play in the background and occupy your mind with other things. This has been something that has helped me when I'm recovering from it, or if it flares back up, which occasionally it has over the years. And then finally, the last tip I'm going to give you guys, try to add humor to these intrusive thoughts. These thoughts are horrible. They, are the stuff of nightmares. So you're like, how the heck am I supposed to add humor to this? Well, sometimes what I find is just saying it out loud. If you actually think about the thought, you're like, I would never do that. That's the last thing in the world I would do. That's nothing like me. It's, sometimes that's a way to do it. Sometimes you can put a joke to it. whatever it might be. But I'm telling you guys, anything you do to make it funny or try to add some levity to it will take some of the power away from those thoughts. Because if you focus on them and you start watching that horrible movie that's playing, it will destroy you. You'll think you're a bad person, you're an evil person, something's wrong with me, lock me away and throw away the key. And trust me, and this is one of the last things I'll say because I don't want this to be a long video. If you guys were bad, if these were hidden desires that you wanted to, carry out, they wouldn't bother you. It wouldn't disgust you. It wouldn't scare you so much that these thoughts are playing if, you're an aspiring serial killer or, you have some other deviant thoughts that, you always just had hidden in the back of your mind that you want to do. It wouldn't bother you. What happens with people like that, if they get opportunity, they'll do it. They enjoy the thoughts. They don't feel guilty about the thoughts. The thoughts wouldn't bother people who carry on that way. So don't ever let intrusive thoughts question your identity or if you're a good person. Most of the people with intrusive thought OCD care very deeply about themselves and care very deeply about others and would never do the things that are playing on the movie that's playing in their head. So that's about all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you guys so much again for all the support for the channel. I really appreciate it. Just if you know anybody who's experiencing these mental health issues, have them take a look at the channel. I think that it will help people. That's why I started the channel. I also think it'll help to hear it from the horse's mouth, to hear it from somebody who's gone through it. I feel like that should give it some credence, as well as, a more empathetic take on some of these things where sometimes, when you go to a mental health professional and if they haven't experienced it, they're really good at telling you what you should do, but you're sitting in the chair thinking, boy, I wonder if they'd be able to do it. If these thoughts were looping through their mind or if they felt this way. So anyways, thanks again so much. And until my next video, take care.